Hey guys, how you doing? Everybody excited about Eagles football back in Philly? Go Eagles! All right, welcome to Gman Live. We're gonna get a chance to break it down every single week. We're gonna get a chance to talk about 5 topics. So on Gman Live, we're gonna cover 5 topics. Now we're gonna have a whole backdrop different. So just bear with us for a little while. We're gonna change the backdrop here. Obviously, we're gonna keep the Eagles logo right there. Yep, this will be our season. See the sign right there? Go Eagles. So things are going to be good for us this year. It was a rough start in Atlanta, but you know what? We come back for the home opener. I think we're going to take this one. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to review 5 things. First thing, Eagles game coming up tomorrow against the Cowboys. We're going to talk about that. Second thing, movies. We're going to talk about a movie and we're going to review it. Third thing, we're going to talk about television shows. And I'll be reviewing 3 shows this fall. The Leftovers on HBO. I'll be reviewing The Affair on Showtime and Homeland also on Showtime. So that's 3 things. And then the 4th thing we're going to do, we're going to cover a specific topic like in current events. And then the last thing will be the other topic. So, you know, anything that comes to mind, anything that's of interest, whether it is in the sports world, whether it's in the social world, whether it's in the media with television and with movies, we're going to cover all that. Now, for those of you that can't see, this right here, number 7 for the Eagles. This was my old jersey. This was my old Mike Vick jersey. And this was a big color for me because I like the Kelly Green Eagles jerseys. Cool. Loved Mike Vick when he was here. Now we got to move on. Now we got Sam Bradford, so we're just moving on. And let's hope that this is not, I'm just trying to let everybody know, this is not the Sam Bradford 7. This is the Mike Vick 7. But I love them both, you know, and I'm hoping that Bradford has a great season. I think he will. So far, so good. So let's get on to it. Let's talk about that first game. By the way, for all of my New York fans and my DC fans, I'm going to be covering the Giants. I'm going to be covering the Redskins. You know, we'll be covering the Cowboys because they're in the NFC East. So we're going to be covering all of them. And I had someone ask me who I liked in the AFC. My teams in the AFC are, I love the Jets. Got to have mad love for the Jets because they're kind of like the Eagles in a way. So that's the Jets out in the AFC, and I like the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. They're my teams out in the AFC, even though we rarely ever play them. So this week, big week, Cowboys week, you know, got to show the colors. So now, after coming off a loss against the Falcons, how do we come back from that loss? And here's how we do it. Number 1, and for all those people out there that were watching that Thursday night game, didn't Evan Mathis look really, really good? I think so too. Yep. Bad move? Absolutely. Eagles should have kept him because that offensive line is not all that good. So, offensive line, yes, that's the key to winning this game. Got to be able to run block. Got to be able to pass block. The Cowboys might be down on players. Des Bryant's not playing. Leary on the offensive line is not playing. Randy Gregory on defense is not playing. Hardy on defense is not playing. Des Bryant obviously not playing. So, Eagles think themselves, hey, you know, this will be a good one. Don't take the Cowboys lightly. Don't. Cowboys are going to be tough. It's not going to be an easy one. This is not that kind of game where you look at it and say, they're missing 5 guys. It don't matter. They miss 5 guys. They can miss 10 guys. This is the NFC East. Take no teams lightly. None. And that's the problem with the Eagles is that they take teams lightly and play down to the level of their opponent. But they got to play up to the level of their opponent now. And the Cowboys are defending East champs. So, got to take them seriously, all right? If you want this season to be a good season, it all starts tomorrow. So, here's how it works. On the offensive line, if they can get some good run blocking from their guards, their tackles are not bad. Their guards are weak. If they can get some good run blocking from their from their guards, and they can pull out, they can open up some lanes for some of the running backs, DeMarco and for Matthews and for Sproles, they can be successful. Because once they start running that football, then it's going to open up all kinds of spots all throughout the middle of the field, possibly some downfield. There's talk in the media all about why Bradford didn't go long against the Falcons. I don't necessarily think you have to go long against the Falcons. They just give you, whatever it is they're giving you, you take it. And Sam Bradford played fine in the second half, and we moved the ball. We scored 3 touchdowns. Had we scored 2 touchdowns in the first half, or even 1 touchdown, we'd have won the game. So he had enough points. He had enough movement. I'm not worried about throwing 80 yards down the field, 60 yards down the field. If he's throwing 35, 40 yards down the field, 25, 35 yards down the field, that's fine. You don't have to. Tom Brady doesn't exactly air it out every time, and all dude has is all them, right? So don't listen to all those guys on the CSN Philly and that those bozos on Breakfast on Broad just trying to rhyme some names. These guys are all like insiders, and so they're all just part of the game where they know some of the people are not objective enough to be able to give you an objective look at it just from a football standpoint. They gotta pump some guys, and other guys they're not objective. On Gman Live, you're gonna get Philly objectivity. I am completely objective, and I will tell you, if Sam Bradford throws 25, 30 yards, has his longest completions throughout the season, but maintains a completion percentage of 65 to 70%, you're going to win ball games. And you're going to win at least 11 to 12 ball games. So no need to even sweat that one out. I'm not really sure why these guys on CSN Philly, I'm not even going to name names, but not sure why these geniuses decided they felt the need to do that. Not sure why these guys on Breakfast on Broad felt the need to do that. You know why? Because in the Dallas media, they ain't talking about it. All right? They're not talking at all about whether Bradford can throw long. They're worried about that completion percentage. And that is the cold, hard facts on G-Man Live. So, now, let's move on to the Cowboys. So, that's what the Eagles got to do on offense. Run the football. Get your offensive line going. Get run blocking down the field. If you do that, you will win this game. Cowboys on defense. Hey, this is kind of, this is brain surgery here. They got to stop the run. So that's kind of, easy to do. They just have to stop the Eagles' run. They have to get on our guards. And if they do, and they're bringing their guys like Crawford, if they do that, they will stop the Eagles' run, and Eagles will then become a one-dimensional team and do exactly what they did last week, which is put Bradford, back there passing 50 times a game, and they will get Bradford killed. Literally, he will be killed and buried right there at the link. We have to worry about his knee. He had to worry about his life. Bigger difference. So, you got to make sure that, if you're a Cowboys defensive coordinator, you got to make sure you stop that run. If you stop the run, now the Cowboys are a little bit weak in the secondary. They're not great in the secondary. Barry Church is a good safety. They got some good guys that can play out there. They got Claiborne playing on the corner. Guys like a second or third year player, struggling a little bit, but was a first round pick. They're going to probably stick him out there to try to cover whoever the Eagles line up on the wideout spot. Usually Jordan Matthews is a slot guy. It depends on who they stick out there. But that's going to be their one. And then Orlando Skandrick is injured. There's another Cowboy injury. He's not going to be there. He's their other corner. He's out for the season. So whoever they decide to plug in on that other side, they're going to have their hands full if the Eagles can establish a passing game, which I expect them to be able to do, because this is this is Chip Kelly we're talking about here, and Chip Kelly just throws the football, loves that. Although at Oregon he ran the football an awful lot, they were like a balanced team, so they got to find that balance again, run, pass, not just throw, step back and chuck it. So that's pretty much how that goes for the Cowboys D. They have to just stop the run. Once they stop the run, everything else is going to be a lot easier for the Cowboys. If they successfully do that, then the Cowboys could walk into Philly and walk out of here 2-0. Basically putting us in the dreaded 0-2 spot, which no team ever makes the fucking playoffs. So, in any event, now, if the special teams are even, which I don't expect it to be, I expect the Eagles to actually win the special teams. And on offense, when the Cowboys have the ball, they're going to be looking, because the Eagles actually have a pretty good front seven. The Cowboys are going to be looking to get some chances to run the football, even though DeMarco Murray is now wearing green. They're going to be looking to try their best to run the football and open up some passing lanes for Escobar, the tight end, down the middle. Because they can hit Jason Witten, but he's not the threat he used to be. Escobar is the guy they can hit down the middle. And Williams is a good receiver. So they have some guys. Also, the one thing the Eagles got to be careful about is not to overlook Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley can ball. All right, Cole Beasley's like Julian Edelman. You get these little skinny guys that kind of get in and out, and then they before you know it, they're racking up like 8-9 catches for 95, 100 yards, and a touchdown. But you have to watch a guy like that because he comes out of the slot area and he is very effective. So the Eagles are going to be playing a nickel package to try to cover him. And who that nickel guy is going to be is a good question, because the Eagles did lose a couple players in the preseason, and so that fifth guy is going to be a real interesting decision who they decide. I forget who it was last week, who they put in there for that, but it's important this week because Cole Beasley is going to be that guy that's going to really drive them nuts if they can't match up with them, with man coverage. So I expect the Eagles to get more pressure on Romo, even though the Cowboys have a good line. I do expect some more blitz packages. I got to get to Romo. If you don't get to Romo, he'll sit back there. One thing Tony can do, and I know all you Eagle fans fucking hate Tony Romo and think he sucks. Here's a hint. He doesn't suck, okay? He had a couple bad seasons where he wasn't able to make the playoffs because he just screwed the pooch in December. This is not the same Tony Romo. This is a guy that's actually matured. This guy knows what he's doing. This is like Tony Romo 2.0. So, can't take him lightly. Got to respect him. The guy completes passes down the field, across the field, and he hits a lot of different receivers. And the one thing that Tony Romo does really well, nobody in Philly wants me to say that, but remember, hey, I'm wearing a green jersey. I'm an Eagles fan, big Eagles fan all my life. See? We got our logo right there. So, Tony Romo is always really good at being able to just sidestep a rusher or two to extend the play by about another second or a second and a half. And when he does that, he buys just enough time for his receiver to separate, and he completes that pass. That is what you have to take away from Tony Romo. If you do that, you win the game. So, that's pretty much what the Cowboys are going to be looking to do. Get their running game going. Once they do, Romo is going to just throw it downfield to his tight ends and extend plays. Now, if he does that, you're looking at a high-scoring game. And if the Eagles can't stop him on the running attack, then you're looking at a game where Dallas could, like I said, walk in here, walk out 2-0. So, important for the Cowboys to get their passing attack going, their running attack going. If they get their running game going, their passing attack opens. If they only have a passing attack and their running game gets stuffed, that's where the Cowboys will fall into problems, because they cannot just win this game just on passing alone. The Eagles will pick them off and sack Romo, despite that great offensive line the Cowboys have. And don't underestimate, that Cowboys offensive line is damn good. You got like 3 first-round picks on that line. So they got Zach Martin, number 1 pick, Fredericks, number 1 pick, and then they got Tyrion Lannister Smith on the tackle position on the right side. That dude can ball. So the Cowboys actually have a pretty good line, and that's going to be on display. Plus, Cowboys did something Eagle fans would love. They took Le'Veon Collins late or after the draft, and now they got themselves a stud backup because he was projected to go in the first round. So off-the-field problems kicked him out of the first round. Cowboys smart enough to pick him up. Kudos to the Cowboys for that. Got to give the Eagles the gas face for that bad decision. You had a guy out there who could have helped you in a position of need, but you do what the Eagles have done for all these years. That's why we don't have any championships. None. Got to be a little bit smarter when we're trying to look at personnel. But in any event, this isn't an Eagles rip video. So I'm going to go Eagles home opener. I'm going to go out there, for the fans. I'm going to go out there and say, I'm going to go Eagles 34, 27, something like that. Eagles win by a touchdown or so. I'm going to go Eagles on this one. I think the Eagles offense will actually be able to move the ball running and passing, and I think the Cowboys will just be worn down by that fast-paced offense by Chip Kelly. I think that's what's going to happen. Look for a special teams turnover as well. I think the Cowboys will come in here a little lackadaisical, and the Eagles will jump on them early. So let's move to the second topic that we can discuss. Now, movies. All right, now, I'll be catching up with all my movies. This is Saturday. I'll be catching up on my movies this week. So I will get a chance to do that, and I'll be able to see some new ones. I'll be able to review some new ones for you guys, like The Visit. We'll be able to talk about The Walk. We'll be able to talk about Everest. All those coming out all look awesome. Awesome movies coming out for the fall. We got some damn good ones. But let's just go a little bit back into the past. I just want to talk about a movie, American Ultra. Saw it, loved it, thought it was great. It's one of these movies that just, you don't even realize that the movie is but you think it's like, an hour and a half, but it goes by so fast. It seems like it's like, 30-minute movie because you're enjoying it so much. Great storyline. Jesse Eisenberg plays this guy who's like, he forgets he's a CIA guy because they kind of did something to his brain, and he starts to remember stuff. And when people say like a trigger word or something, he flips out and beats the crap out of him like, he's like a ninja all of a sudden. And he's dating this girl, they're a bunch of stoners. Kristen Stewart actually does a good job. I mean, you got to give her props. The only thing that would have been better if she would have gotten naked in this one, but she doesn't. But she does a good job. The movie is actually really, really interesting because they took a pretty cool concept, pretty basic concept. These two stoners have nothing going for them, but they, went in depth and they made the the topic be a little bit more, you kind of think to yourself, all right, you know what, this could be good because you got Jesse Eisenberg playing this guy who's supposed to be this like loser stoner. This could be like a funny story, but actually it's interesting because they turn it around. They make him into this like CIA experiment, and then he's off, trying his best to figure out where did he learn all these like fighting skills from. And so then he realizes what happens. I don't want to give it all away, but the storyline is really good. Jesse Eisenberg is really good. It will keep you entertained for the entire time. If I have to rate it, I'm rating it. No question, it is full price. You pay full price for this. If you're going with a 5 rating system or a 4 rating system of full price, and then matinee, and then rental, and then the last one would be like, bullshit, this one is definitely full price. It's worth it. So if you get a chance, check it out. Check it out. That would be probably maybe a few more weeks until we start to get into like the fall movies, and then I'll be reviewing them. As far as TV shows right now are coming to an end from the summer, like Ray Donovan and Masters of Sex, and they're both really good shows, by the way. The Strain is a great show. They're all coming to an end, so I'm not going to really delve into them right now. I'll get into the other ones, like I said, the 3 other ones that are coming out this fall. I'll be talking about them. We'll have some guest appearances on. We'll have some guys that will get a chance to talk about sports, talk about movies. So we'll have some nice kick around. As far as social stuff is concerned, I think it's interesting that right now, you got a presidential election coming up. Guys all interested in that. Everybody kind of has an issue. Everybody has a person they like, and everybody has a person that they hate. I try to do my best to just break it down and see which guy does, the best. I thought the debate was interesting. I did watch the debate. Yes, we in Philly are not all, we don't eat our own. We're not all carnivores. We're not all cannibals. We actually might like the Eagles, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we are vicious mongoloids, okay? We're actually, some of us are kind of nice. So I thought that the debate was interesting because, like I said, we're involved. It's not like Philly people just kind of sit around and just, kill robots all summer. We are involved. I thought the debate was interesting for a number of reasons, but I do think that CNN had a really bad venue and a bad setup. It seemed like everybody was all like tight and bunched up, and they just didn't seem like they had control over the event. I thought they could have had a much better sequence if they would have had a buzzer that would have been like, they hit the buzzer once the time was over, and then it would have been done, but they didn't do that. So I thought Carly Fiorina won the debate, and I thought that she did a great job. I thought some other guys did pretty good. I thought that you had some guys that really did step up, and it's going to be interesting down the wire to see how it goes. Obviously Donald Trump is always going to be, interesting guy. He's going to have his views on things, and let's put it this way, he's injected a whole lot of energy into this race. So you're not talking about a dude who, people call him a dummy. I'd love to be that $10 billion dummy. All right, that dude is a smart dude, knows exactly what he's doing. He is a very savvy business guy, and if he's savvy in business, he can be savvy in politics. He knows how to play them, and he knows how to play the establishment guys. He's a smart dude. So right now, I'd have to say, as far as the horse race is concerned, you probably would be saying right now, early on, before you get to any kind of voting primaries, probably Trump and Carson and Fiorina are probably your top 3. And then beyond that, probably Chris Christie and Marco Rubio are probably like right after that. So it's going to be interesting to see how this comes down. Probably going to be whittled down to 5 once we get to probably around like Thanksgiving, because there's going to be one more debate in October, and then one more in November, and then one more in December. And by that time in December, I'm willing to bet that we are down to about 5 guys, or 5 peeps, 4 dudes and Carly Fiorina. So probably going to be down to about 5 peeps by then, because dudes are going to be dropping out. I mean, there's no way these guys can sustain this stuff after 4 months of like 0 interest or 1% interest. So anyway, so the other topic that I would like to cover, and this will just be to close it out, is about thyroid issues. And I think it's a very important topic. Thyroid problems creep up on people, and they don't actually know what the hell it is. There's like all kinds of little things. You're like, why is this not working well? Why is that not working well? But you don't think too much of it because it's kind of subtle. Thyroid. And the reason being is because there's a thing out there called subclinical hypothyroid. That is something that can cause you symptoms. Now, do you treat it? That's a good question. I don't know. Anybody out there that wants to comment, put it in the comments below, because it's an interesting discussion. And you see people that are fine, and then slowly that thyroid begins to slow down, and then it's an inverse reaction. The TSH numbers will go up because you're producing less thyroid. And then you start to get symptoms, and they come on slowly. So it's somewhat of an insidious disease. So you have to be careful with that. And there's 2 drugs out there you can take. You can take Synthroid, which is the biggest one, and there's another one called Armour Thyroid, and that one some people take, and some people love it. The difference is this: Synthroid is synthetic thyroid, hence Synthroid, and it's only a T4 ingredient. So you're just getting the inactive form of thyroid, which then the pharmaceutical companies hope will then turn it from T4 into T3, the active form, and now you got your thyroid. But the Armour Thyroid gives you both T4 and T3. The problem with that is they don't know how to dose it. They dose it in grams, whereas they dose the Synthroid in micrograms, 25, 50, 75, 100. They dose the Armour Thyroid in grams, so 30 grams in the morning, 30 grams in the afternoon, or 60 in the morning, 30 in the afternoon, so you might be at 90. So it's an interesting breakdown on how this stuff happens. As far as which one you go with, that's a good question. If you want the active one, if you want the active ingredient T3, the actual part of the thyroid that we use in our muscles and in our body, in our organs, in our entire system, Armour Thyroid gives you that T3. You don't have to worry about the conversion. The people that claim that the Armour Thyroid is better than the Synthroid is because they don't have to worry about the conversion. But the medical community will tell you nobody has any problems with the conversion. Take the Synthroid, T4 goes into T3, you're good. Not exactly true. Some people do have a hard time with the conversion. The conversion occurs in the liver. If you can't make that conversion, problems. And if you have problems, the problems are going to continue. And if you're on the Synthroid, the problems are going to get worse because you're taking a synthetic thyroid and it's not making that conversion. So if you end up taking Synthroid and you don't have any results from it, you have no benefit from it, it's because your body's not making that connection. It's not making that conversion from T4 to T3. Why is that the case? Who knows? It's an enzyme thing, whether the enzyme can convert T4 to T3. However, the Armour Thyroid is available, so you have that option. They did some studies. I'll show them next week. They did some studies where they compared both Synthroid to Armour Thyroid. Armour Thyroid went out by a little bit, but mainly because people lost a little bit more weight on it and they had a little bit more energy. But generally speaking, the two are close. I mean, there's some people out there that rave about the Armour Thyroid. There's a website there called Stop the Thyroid Madness, and they're big on Armour Thyroid. They hate Synthroid. They're like totally against it. And I can't say one way or the other, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know. It's an interesting development in the medical community, which one would be the better of the two. I'd probably have to say, if gun to my head, I probably would say try the Synthroid first. If it doesn't work after about 6 to 8 weeks, jump over to the Armour Thyroid. Dose that right. And the problem is dosing. You got to dose it a few times with the Synthroid, and then you got to dose it a few times on the Armour to figure out which one's the better one. So that'll do it here on Gman Live. Any questions or comments? Again, that's why comments below. Comments below. Put comments in the comment section. I will answer all of your questions, and I will respond to any of your comments. So any questions that you have on any one of those 5 topics, Eagles, football, sports, if you want to talk any kind of movies, TV shows, social stuff, I am here. I am your man on G-Man Live.